Hello everyone, this is Vibhuti, roll number 190838. Today I am presenting chapter 1 of the novel Efuru, which is written by Flora and Vapa. So I'm going to tell the summary and the theme of tradition, as it yesterday it was said by Sejo sir that we have to notice the tradition. Tradition here we can see tradition which is performed, uh, tradition of circumcision of women. So tradition, it comes from the past and is still present, and it also keep on changing. Cultural practices changes, but cultural practice has a past and is still present. And in this novel, especially in the first chapter, we can see that circumcision of women is a part of dominant culture. And the second point, which yesterday was also discussed, was the presence of British and colonial government. So the point of gain, like people are making gain at their own homes, on page number 1. And on the other page we will also see that villagers, they are making their own gain and they are hiding when police comes at their home to investigate. They have made some places to hide the gain. um, Government has banned the gin, making gin at their homes, but government is also making their own gin and selling that gin on higher rates. But people are making the gin in their farms, and they can't see any difference in the gin which is uh, selling by British government and the gin which they made at their own home. Firstly, just let me just represent the some information about Flora and Vapa. Sorry if I pronounce her full name incorrectly. So let me just try. Florence Evanzuruahu Nkiru Nwapa was a Nigerian author who has been called the mother of modern African literature. She was the forerunner to a generation of African women writers and the first African women novelist to be published in the English language in Britain. She was born on 13th of January 1931 and she died on 16th of October 1993. She uses female characters to challenge unfair cultural practices that African women are subjected to due to widowhood and childlessness. So here in this first chapter, the unfair cultural practice which we will see is the which I have just said, is the circumcision of women. And Flora and Wapa, Nigerian novelist, best known for recreating Igbo or Ibo life and customs from a woman's viewpoint. A little information about Igbo women, which I have taken from the Google. So the Google says the dominant role of Igbo women is to make pure wives of their honorable husbands. In marriage, they are expected to be submissive to their husbands, do household and domestic chores, farming, and bear children. And Igbo women are known to be so kind and caring. They love, support, and take care of their husbands, children, and relatives. They do not just take care of their own biological children, they also take care of other children around them, especially those that are kept within their care. So, in this novel, especially in the first chapter, we will see how the protagonist Ifuru, how she take cares of her husband. Her husband doesn't have money, he doesn't have dowry to pay to uh, to her father. He doesn't belong from a distinguished family, he doesn't have a father who is well known by the people. He's kind of poor man, and she belong to a distinguished family, and she is herself distinguished. uh, and after marriage she still take care of her husband, but as we will read the chapter, he left her for the another woman. So if Furu's husband name is Adiswa, sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name. So what he is saying in the last where you can see the last line, Adizua told her he loved her very much and that even the dust she trod on meant something to him. So now he is saying this, but as we will move ahead in the uh, chapters, we will see that he has left her for the another woman. And there comes a time when she's preparing food for him, and he's not coming at home for days, he's not talking to her, and it becomes very very irritating for her. So there is a kind of festival which happens, and after that festival young men and young women they meet each other, they find partners for each other. And in the same kind of moment, Ifuru and Adizwa met each other, and after 2 weeks of courting they agreed to marry each other. And on one moonlit night, they talked of life and their happiness, and they discussed of the dowry. Adizwa was not able to pay the dowry. She said like when they will have money they will pay the dowry to Ifuru's father, but right now they will proclaim marriage. So Adizua said to Ifuru that you come to my home at Anko Day, and so Adizua said that to Ifuru that you come to my home so with some clothes, uh, and on Anko Day. So what is Anko Day? So in Igbo calendar, and there are 4 days of Igbo market days: F4, Anko, Iki, and Ori. Anko is one of 4 days, and uh, for like this is the Igbo market days, of which each community has a day assigned to open its market. This way Igbo calendar is still in use. When she listened at his words, she went to home, and when one of her cousin asked like why are you late, she was rude to him. And after that, that cousin complained the behavior of hers to her father, and father said that I have some kind of idea that she is in relationship with someone, and she's going to marry, but if boy is able to do all kinds of ritual, then we have no problem. But if Uru's fathers think like there is a kind of danger, that danger is that Adizuo and the boy who is going to marry Ifuru is really not want to marry her. So Ifuru's father asked his brother to help him out, and his brother says that he will investigate who that boy is. So when Anko days comes, everyone is in the market. Adizuo's mother is in the market, and Ifuru's father is in the market. And with some possessing, she reached Adizuo's home. And when Adizuo's mother came, she noticed her, and Adizuo answered like, "We have married," and her father thought that she will be taking bath in stream. She will come sometime later. But in the night, Ifuru's father's brother gave the news that she has ran away with a boy with some possessings, and the boy who is not so much famous, who is not so much distinguished. So now what Ifuru fathers do is that he sent his brothers or some young men from his family to Ifuru's husband's house, and Ifuru welcomed them, and she offered some cola nuts and with some alligator pepper to them. This is how the cola nuts looks like, and this is how the alligator pepper looks like. After some time, she offered some gin to them, and she described the incident which happened like Nawabuzo had the gin, and when police came at his house to investigate the gin, he hid that gin under the ground, and he was so afraid. He was so afraid he did not took out that gin. And now it's been 6 months, and the taste has developed, and it tastes so nice after 6 months. So now we can see that people are hiding Gin from police. So now the young men, they were happy, and they were satisfied that she is happy here. So they said to Ifuru that now you can, like, your father won't be angry on you. You tell your husband that he pay the dowry and he do all the offerings, and he will be accepted. Don't be afraid. So when these young men went to their home and said whatever was they saw at Ifuru's house, Ifuru's father was not satisfied. Then from the village he sent some other people, but nothing came out of uh, it, and Ifuru did not come to his father's house. Ifuru husband Adizwa work in a farm, and when he asked to his wife Ifuru that will she like to work in farm, she said like she's not made for doing farm work. She will do the trade. So she do trade, and in the other chapters we will see that trading is what benefited them, because the flood came and uh, everybody's crop was destroyed. And there is a description of how farm life is very hard, how mosquitoes tease the people. And there is a description that people people, what they do for saving themselves from mosquito, they use some kind of leaves, as we have seen in Discovery. Bear Grylls too, for saving himself from mosquitoes, he uses some kind of leaves. Because Adiso is newly married, so he's not more interested in doing work in farm. He want to be in town with his wife, and because of this, the other people of the farm, they are gossiping like why he doesn't work properly in farm and why he stay so much in the town. So after doing work in the farm, when he go to town, he brings some vegetables and fish for her wife. When she prepares food for him, he goes and takes bath, and after that he goes to bed and sleep. So now one day Ifuru's mother-in-law called her, and she said like you have to go through a ceremony, you have to take bath before you give birth to a baby. And why she needed to take bath? Because there was a lady, her name was Anwa Kego. Her daughter gave birth to a son, but he died because she did not went through the circumcision. And this story of Navakego's daughter, it was said by uh, Osai's sister. Osai is the name of Ifuru's mother-in-law. So this Anvakego's daughter incident was said by Osai's sister Ajnu, Ajanupu. So now Ifuru's mother-in-law she went to a lady who do the circumcision, and that lady says like if she's not pregnant only, then I am going to do this, because if the so much of the blood will come, there can be danger to the baby also. So there is also a tradition of offering cola nuts, and this is how the cola nuts looks like. In Nigeria, it is an important cultural symbol for many ethnic groups. It is given to guests at wedding, funerals, and naming ceremonies, and it is used in medicine. Ceremonial breakings of the kola nut is important for making people feel welcome in a village or gathering. So when people from Ifuru's house come to take Ifuru back to home, Ifuru offered them kola nuts. And now when Ifuru's mother-in-law went to um, the lady who was going to do the circumcision, she also offered Ifuru's mother-in-law the kola nuts. And when the Ifuru's mother-in-law's sister Ajanupu came at her home, Ifuru's mother-in-law will also offer her the kola nuts as well. So it's a tradition of offering kola nuts to the person who visit home. So Ifuru's mother-in-law again confirmed from the Ifuru that is she pregnant or not, and when Ifuru said that she is not pregnant yet, she went to the lady who was going to the circumcision, and that lady said that okay, the next day in the morning I will come to your house and do the circumcision, and the next day she arrived at Ifuru's house and Ifuru's mother-in-law's house, and she did the circumcision of Ifuru. In this circumcision, what happens is clitoral is removed, and why it is removed? Because when there will be no clitorises, there will be no willingness to do the sexual act, and when there will be no willingness, women will be always loyal to her husband. So this is the mentality about circumcision of women. There is a circumcision of man as well, but the mentality about doing the circumcision of a boy and a girl, their mentality is very different. Circumcision is also known as khatna, female circumcision, and khatna is a bohra ritual of cutting the clitoral hood in young girls. It is defined by the World Health Organization as female genital mutilation type 1. So tradition is a factor coming from Africa. The missionaries who came from Egypt, Yemen into India and Gujarat, that there they started converting traders into bohras. Bohras were trading community, so men used to go out work. They were out from their homes for a long time, and housewives were there, and so that housewife remains faithful to their husband. Sexual urges are curbed, and it is a sexual violence, and it is a child rights to have her body as she wants it to be. And because of this, a girl has to go through a great suffering. It is very violent. It is as violent as rape. It is as disgraceful as rape. No one has a right to take to part someone's body part away from that person. Ifuru's mother-in-law consoled her, and when Ifuru's mother-in-law's sister visited her home, she also consoled her. Um, Ajanupa gave her daughter's example, Jibonu, that my daughter also went through this pain. Every woman has to go through this pain, and it won't be longer. It is for yours uh, chastity. And the theme of masculinity is also shown here when people were discussing like who is Ifuru's father. Some people said like her father name is Envashai Kojin. He's a mighty man of valor, and he has fought against the arrows. And if he would be young, he would have done something. He would have teach Adizu a lesson, because he's old now, so he's not doing anything. When the circumcision of Ifuru was happening, her husband was outside, and it seemed like he was also feeling the pain which Ifuru was going through. And then a black kind of stuff was prepared, and it was advised by the women who did the circumcision that whoever the comes in the room, they have to sprinkle that black kind of stuff on their feet, and then they can enter. It is because infection doesn't spread. And Ifuru was advised to press that portion from the hot water, and if something wrong this kind of happens, then that women said that you can call me at any time. And there are also women who do not know how to do the circumcision, and still they do. Like in page 13 you can see like she never had any trouble with all her cases, unlike Magbogworo. So Magbogworo, I don't know it's a woman or a man. Like Magbogworo doesn't know how to do the operation, but it seems like he also do, and it become very dangerous. Like she doesn't know how to operate, and she operates. And when the circumcision of Ifuru happened, Ifuru's mother-in-law took did great take care of Ifuru. But after 1 month, Ifuru said now everything is all right, and she want to do the trade now. but her mother-in-law suggested, like, when I was at your place for 3 months, I was a feasting girl, uh, but only for 1 month you are saying like you want to do the trade. She said, but all right. uh, Ifuru ate whatever she wanted to add for 1 month. She was not allowed to eat cassava. She was served fruits and yam. Sweet potatoes, yam is different, and cassava is different. Now again you can see the tradition, like in page number 15 it is written like no dress was worn when a young woman went to the market after the period of feasting. So we can see the traditions, the dominant culture, and her body was exposed so that the people saw how well her mother or her mother-in-law had cared of her. Uh, so she with the girl went to the market, and uh, people people were complaining like her first dress was good and her second is not good. When she wore the second dress, they compared their dress. People were also talking like how like Ifuru, why did she marry Adizua? He's not as distinguished as Ifuru. He's not well known, and Ifuru and his father is well known. And many of the people when at their homes and on the street, when Ifuru went out, congratulated her and her mother-in-law because she did great take care of Ifuru. And when people came at the house of Ifuru to meet her, and then her mother-in-law offered them gain some nuts and some cola nuts. Camwood was used in dyeing her clothes, and Easy for her face. And when Ifuru was playing with her husband, uh, she uh, she left. Ifuru left a stain of camwood on her husband's shirt or whatever he was wearing. And when her husband and Iswa went out to his friends, they noticed the camwood on his shirt or whatever he was wearing, and they got to know that her wife was circumcised, and they teased Adiswa. And this is how the first chapter ends here. Now if anybody has any question, you can ask.